It should. And everybody in the progressive left is using it. Let me play what Hillary Clinton said.
I prefer the word progressive, which has a real American meaning, going back to the progressive era at the beginning of the 20th century. I consider myself a modern progressive.
Read up. This will make your brain hurt, but read it, please. There was nothing really American about progressivism, other than it was really started here, but its roots are from Europe, which is weird, because while we were studying with people like Woodrow Wilson that we've got to be more like Europe, the Europeans were actually looking to America. You know, the Statue of Liberty was really not built with a motivation to thank America. The motivation of those who built it in France, not a tribute to us. It was an encouragement to France to be more like America. Do you know the painting that now sits in the Metropolitan Museum of Art? This is a copy of this painting of George Washington crossing the Delaware. It was painted by an American-born German as an inspiration to encourage Germans to be more like Americans. But while all of that was happening in Europe, while they were saying, look overseas to what they're doing over there, the progressives were saying the same thing here in America. Look overseas to what's happening in Europe. They were studying the European way. The elites were teaching their philosophies now in our universities. They were teaching the philosophies of Nietzsche and Marx, and the progressives flourished in it. I get a lot of heat for bringing up fascism on this program, but it's the roots. The roots of progressivism lead to fascism. The early American progressives were for the fascist in the early 20th century. Read history. You can call me all the names you want. Read history and show me where I'm wrong. The reason why I bring up Hitler so much of the times is because what he did, many of the things, had their roots, their seeds here in America. The biggest example is eugenics, which led to the extermination camps. This was a progressive idea, not the extermination camps, but eugenics, which led to those camps. You see, the progressives in America always thought they were superior. And it was the stupid people that were just slowing us down. Hitler just took that to the next level, as did Stalin. The progressive tactics haven't changed much since then. What do? Watch. They build a structure, and then they make it so darn complex that people don't understand it. And then they avoid debate. Most importantly, they've got to move quickly and silence any of the dissent. Well, if that doesn't work, if they can't silence you, they bribe you, they indoctrinate you. But if that still doesn't work, they will destroy you. Again, does any of this sound like today? We see this in the work and the tactics of this guy, Saul Alinsky. Watch this. Saul Alinsky said, quote, "The man of action views the issue of means and ends in pragmatic and strategic terms. He has no other problem. He thinks only of his actual resources and possibilities of various choices of action. He asks of ends only whether they are achievable and worth the cost, of means only whether they'll work." Wow. That's incredible to me. But you don't have to go all the way back to the 1960s. Robert Creamer, a convicted felon, who, according to David Axelrod, wrote a blueprint for the health care. This is it. He's a convicted felon. He wrote this in prison. What did he say about destroying your enemies? Well, he wrote about me. It is important for the targets of the smear machine, that would be me, to push back and use whatever kinds of means we can to prevent him from continuing these kinds of reckless charges. They know they can't bribe me, they can't silence me, they can't indoctrinate me. I'm a living human being that uses my brain, and I try to find the answer wherever the truth may lie. So all that's left is to destroy me, or you, if you think like me. You see them doing this in Congress to their own people. What amazes me about health care is this has not been a debate.
We stand here at the finish line, though as we stand here, we're not standing alone. We stand with those who blazed a trail ahead of us, tireless champions of health care reform, all the way from President Theodore Roosevelt to our good friend who is with us in spirit, Ted Kennedy. This is why we came here. This is why we hired out for these jobs, to pass something very historic and important like this.
Very historic, starting with Theodore Roosevelt, a progressive. Notice he wasn't referring to the GOP there, because they weren't invited to this, even though there are progressives in the GOP. They can't stop it. The GOP, they could all vote no, but they can't stop it. The struggle has been within the Democratic Party, the traditional Democrat and the radical uber progressives. Well, how did they bring the Democrats together with the Democrats? How did they do it? Well, it's easy. We just follow these things that we learned in the early 20th century, like Hillary Clinton said. Well, first, there were the bribes.
A deal has been cut in Senator Reid's office, as the deal was cut with the pharmaceutical and companies, and the deal was cut with the AMA, and the deal was cut with the Hospital Association. I don't know what the deal was, but we'll find out what the deal was, just like the deals were cut with all these other organizations, which is full of lobbyists. I can't walk through the hallway here without bumping into one of their lobbyists.
Does the Senator want to hear the deal?
If the Senator keeps interrupting, he is violating the rules of the Senate. I thought he would have learned them by now.
Well, we have the $300 million for Landry, the sugar, the SEIU, the doctor fix, the deal Obama made with the supposedly evil pharmaceutical companies. They're the bribes. Then there's the indoctrination. On this program, we broke the story about the NEA. They were called by the White House to use federal dollars, your tax dollars, through the Arts Endowment to create art for health care. Oh, please. They denied this until we played the tape.
This is just the beginning. This is the first telephone call of a brand new conversation. We are just now learning how to really bring this community together to speak with the government. What that looks like legally, we're still trying to figure out the laws of putting government websites on Facebook and the use of Twitter. This is all being sorted out. We are participating in history as it's being made. So bear with us as we learn the language so that we can speak to each other safely.
Speak to each other safely and legally. Then the White House, after we played that tape, said, oh, no, it's just that one guy, until we played the tape.
I'm at the Office of Public Engagement here at the White House. Our office does a lot of outreach to communities all across the country, either by constituency group or by issue. We have about 20 folks, and we work under Valerie Jarrett. She's one of our fantastic leaders, and Tina Chen. And so we're really here at your disposal, and we want to be helpful to you.
Mm-hmm. Buffy Wicks works for Valerie Jarrett. She just mentioned that. Valerie Jarrett is the woman that the president calls family. No matter how many times they claim I'm crazy and just making things up, it's really hard when you hear their voices or see their faces as the words are coming out. They say we're not engaged in indoctrination. Really? Here it is. Beck attacked Sargent and the NEA on his Fox News talk show, accusing the agency of propaganda efforts similar to those used by Nazi Germany. Let me just break here for a second. Nazi Germany, do you know who Nazi Germany learned propaganda from? This man. This man in World War I. If you read the words of Goebbels, they learned propaganda from us. Now back to what she was saying here, or what this blog was saying. Now Sargent has been tossed overboard, making him Beck's second victim in his campaign to rid the administration of perceived radicals, socialists, communists, fascists, anarchists, and all other manner of nefarious influences. Boy, yeah, I would hate to have those people gone. They say they haven't done it, but the proof is in the product. This is art, created with your tax dollars through the NEA. Health care for all. Indoctrination and bribe.
And bribes. And the final pieces of the puzzle Glenn spelled out all week. They will try to silence you. If that doesn't work, they will try to turn the politics of destruction. Glenn pointed out last night that candidate Obama promised a new era of positive politics. But we have seen some nasty attacks under his administration. Attacks on the left, from the left. And they even went after, you ready for this, Senator Joe Lieberman's wife, when they did not like what the senator was saying about health care. And as we saw during the Tea Parties and town hall meetings, they will mock you, ridicule you, put you down and try to forget you. But don't worry, we are still listening to you. When the left might want to reconsider FDR as their hero. Next.